This is the 2009 practical exam. We are given solid X is a white solid. The part A begins with us having to transfer solid X about 2 spatula tips, so that's about the amount, a small amount of solid X into a large boiling tube. So 2 spatula tips of solid X into the large boiling tube. Then the instructions go on to tell us to put 3 cubic centimeters of lime water in the test tube. So that's lime water. 3 cubic centimeters, that's about 3 cubic centimeters. The instructions would have us bubble the gas through the lime water, so you want to position the test tube of lime water at a convenient place for yourself. Then you can turn on the Bunsen burner, get ready to heat solid X. You always close air hole, start off with a weak flame. So you get ready the teat pipette, and then open air hole for a strong flame. You should note the way I withdraw the gas. You need to ensure that the plastic teat pipette does not touch any part of the boiling tube at any point in time. So you can press a few more times, collect more gas before you bubble through, and you see that I try and squeeze the dropper dry before I take another sample of gas from the boiling tube, because I do not want to contaminate the contents of the boiling tube, because I know I need it for the later parts of the practical. So you withdraw some more sample of the gas and then bubble it through the lime water. Make sure you do not transfer any of the lime water into the boiling tube, and make sure that the plastic pipette does not touch the boiling tube. You will be able to feel the hot vapor filling up the teat pipette. Right, then now you can see the white precipitate forming in the lime water, so that's a positive test for carbon dioxide gas. So the observation is white precipitate forming in lime water. And you see that I continue to heat, because again I know that I need the contents of this tube for the later part, so I need the thermal decomposition to be complete. So I wouldn't really be able to see whether it's complete or not, so we just heat for a while more. Maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, thereabouts. You see that I placed the boiling tube at the tip of the small blue triangle. That's the hottest part of the flame. That's the part of the flame that we use when we heat. Okay, so you see a colorless solid forming. So that's the change of solid X. When not using the Bunsen burner, always close air hole, change to a luminous flame, safety flame. Next is flame test. We're going on to part B. So again, we moisten the splint with the ionized water before we coat the solid. So you coat as much as you can onto the splint. Next, you need a strong flame, so remember to open air hole now. Again, you go for the tip of the small blue triangle. That's the hottest part. The first color you see is the color yellow before. So in this case, it's an orange flame. Okay. Do not leave the splint in the flame for too long. Then close air hole. Then you can move on to the next part of the experiment. We are going on to part C. We are going to transfer some of the solid X. So you go back to the bottle, transfer solid X into a test tube, add 2 cubic centimeters of hydrochloric acid. You see bubbling. very obvious bubbling. Bubbles form, and then you would see that it's a colorless solution that is obtained. Next, to the cold hard glass boiling tube from part A, we are going to add distilled water, using the glass rod. Stir the mixture. When you are preparing solutions like that, be careful not to break the glass. If you break the boiling tube at this point, then you have to redo right from the start, and you may not have time to do that in the exam. So just be very careful when you're making solution. You see that I rest the boiling tube on the rack. It's a little bit less noisy, and also helps to prevent me from breaking the glass. Okay, so you would want to get a solution, because the instruction says stir until all the residue has dissolved. So surely the residue will dissolve, so that's what you do. You stir until all the residue has dissolved. So now the test tube is about 3/4 full. We are going on to D, part 1. That is solution Y. To 2 cubic centimeters of solution Y. So that's me taking the solution Y. We add barium chloride. 2 cubic centimeters. Always mix. That's white precipitate form. Upon adding barium chloride, then we add hydrochloric acid. We see that a colorless solution is formed, but besides that, we notice something else. We notice bubbles. So upon adding barium chloride, we get a white precipitate. Upon adding hydrochloric acid, we actually notice 2 changes. Next, we go on to the part 2. Take another 2 cubic centimeters of solution Y. Now we are going to add 2 cubic centimeters of copper 2 sulfate. So 2 cubic centimeters. Mix. What we get is not a solution. You should be describing a blue precipitate form upon adding copper 2 sulfate solution. Next, we are going to transfer the mixture into a boiling tube before we heat the boiling tube. Always close air hole before you turn on the gas tap, before you turn on the Bunsen burner. When heating solutions, we do not use strong flame, so you will keep the air hole closed. The instructions say heat until no further change is seen. That means that there ought to be more than one change, or at least one change that will be seen. Okay, I'm trying to point out the change with the splint. You would notice there's a color change in the PPT. It was blue, but the blue color would be replaced by green. So you see that I move the tube away when the bubbling gets too vigorous. That's what you can do to prevent the solution from squirting out of the tube. So because you do not want to lose the solution, right? But when I am heating, I always ensure that the tube is placed at the tip of the small blue triangle, the hottest part of the flame. You see lots of colors appearing, brown color appearing. The solution has already changed color to green. We will continue to heat. There is still solution, so we would want to heat to find out what will happen to the solution at the end. When hitting, you don't have to be too nervous. Sometimes you have to hit for a longer while like this. So you see that I'm resting my elbow on the table and my posture is relaxed. You don't have to be too nervous, but just pay close attention to what's happening in the boiling tube. Be sure to write down everything that you notice or that you observe, especially the color changes. You see the blue PPT is drying up and then it's now become green and then turning into black. So black solid form. Next, we're going on to the part 3. So you will have to take another 2 cubic centimeters of solution Y and then add 2 cubic centimeters of dilute hydrochloric acid. Okay, so that's hydrochloric acid, 2 cubic centimeters. You do not get any PPT, so it's a colorless solution that remains, but again we notice very, very tiny bubbles that is seen. So that's the observation.